I really just don't understand why they won't give me the Wampacron for free.
Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars dad, Nooch Too Good, and I'm here with some very special guests. As you know, we always want to talk over the game and changes in the game with people that are smarter than us and PhatPhil, and that's really important to do here in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So, gentlemen, welcome aboard. Phil, how you doing today?
I am good. I swear Egnard's put that in. He set that up for me, didn't he?
No. I don't collaborate with Egnards at all. He's on his own. So, hey, Gerbil, how you doing?
Hey man, doing really good. Thanks for having me on again.
All right, sir. It's good to see you again. And Mr. Beaver, just fresh off of a Grand Arena timeout, it looks like. Is that right?
Yeah, we were doing so last time we did AI chooses our counters. This time it's chat and to see which one does better at playing my GAC. And they ran out of time, so the AI won.
We were talking about that before you came. I tried that once and I was like, I can't do this ever. This is not going to be a thing for me. I let people set my defense. I'm like, now I have no offense. And it was just, yeah, I can't do that, man.
Yeah, it's definitely not like... It's nonsense. It's just for fun. Like, if you're trying to win, it's not a good idea.
No, not really. Not so much. All right, so we're here to talk about... We've been kind of... I'll be blunt. I've been farming the update here for several videos, but it's kind of a big deal. There were a lot of big changes and kind of indicating future big changes as well. So we're going to start talking about the recent addition, and I saw Egnards talking about it first, and then I saw a bunch of other people talking about it. Was the change for signal data prices in the game for crystals, which I think went down like 16.7%, 16 2/3%, something like that. I'm going to start with you, Phil. So what are your thoughts on that as what it portends for us now and in the future with the game, if anything?
So right now, the biggest thing I'd say that I've noticed so far, and this is a plug for a spreadsheet Egnards and I put together, shameless plug, we're tracking all the signal data drop rates. Because the one thing that was always very much the given prescribed method for the community was that if you were ever going to buy signal data, blue signal data was the answer because it just took so long and, drop rates were pretty bad. But what we're seeing so far is that the green signal data with the reduction in the price comparative to the drop rates, that green signal data may be the way to spend your crystals and just farm your white and blue. And I think it's indicative to me there's going to be a big change coming with signal data to potentially, I think, I posted about it, I think we're getting new signal data to allow the mid game to catch up to those of us in the end game. Because right now, every single character needs the exact same amount of signal data, regardless if it's Galactic Legend Hondo or, Ugnaught. So there's no way for a mid game player to ever catch up to it. Endgame player like myself without having to spend money, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, some of us may posit that Ugnaught doesn't need any signal data, but that's a separate conversation. So before we move on, what's your sample size in that? Because I know Egnards has kind of done drop rates for a long time. I don't know if you've been in, but do you have like people giving you data as well, or just you two of you?
Yeah, so we have a whole spreadsheet. Right now, I think we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 20, like 25, I think, people so far, including him and myself the past couple of days. So we have more room on there. I'm going to do a whole video where I talk about it and kind of try to get some more numbers in there. But the nice thing that we're saying is, one, it just gives us idea of what to spend on, but also for the future, if CG ever says we did adjust drop rates, we can go in and be the fact checkers to say, well, 1% doesn't count.
You are more dedicated than I am, sir. So yeah, we won't post link. We'll leave that to you to do in your videos. So that we'll look forward to seeing that. Beaver, any thoughts about that, or any thoughts about the future economy of the game as it might relate to this?
I've said for a while that I feel like with the era system, they've really decided to push people as fast as possible with the era system and the lightspeed bundles, that they're trying their best to catch up people to make them start spending on new things. And I think that's also part of the reason that we're not seeing a lightspeed bundle set like in the last little while, is because they're making a solid amount of money just off of the clones because of how many people wanted the clones. And so I don't think they really needed to supplement the income of the company with the lightspeed bundles. And so they were trying to test out essentially what they're already trying to do. And so I think that this is just leaning into that same thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if they actually just lower the drop rates of these materials and they add in some more assault battle-esque things to give us more of a push towards having signal data in the bigger update to come. And whether we get red stars from like other games or like a Relic 10, I think something big like that is definitely coming. And they're trying to lessen the bottleneck for now. So hopefully the drop rates reflect it. For now, at least crystals are a little easier. So
yeah, it's definitely interesting because I think you're right. In doing reviews, I saw more people buying clones than maybe any other group of marquees that I've ever seen. And I think part of that's because it's cheaper now, right? Like you can, instead of spending $300, you can spend $100. You can spend like 30 or 40, and I mean, you're just going to be able to do better with that now than in the past, right?
Yeah, they got me. They done got me. I swore off going for new characters because I still don't have J&K, I still don't have Leia, and I swore it off, but I had said for 8 months straight, if they drop Darkside clones or even just some lifters for Lord Vader, he's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, I would love to go for him as my next GL, but I just can't justify it. And then they dropped the Darkside clones. It's like, gosh dang it. And then I bought the clones that are $100 each with the new changes. And so I bought the clones, and then I'm like, okay, it's only $200 more to get Mace Windu. And so they literally got $600 out of me just because they dropped something that I was like, yeah, and then an extra $200. I was like,
well, buddy, the first step to fixing that is admitting it. So good job. That's well done, sir.
Yeah.
Gerbil, any thoughts around anything we've brought up so far?
Oh man, I have so many thoughts on it. I actually don't know that this actually heralds, though, any significant changes coming, as much as I kind of want to believe that it is perhaps a recognition that if they want to grow the game among newer players, and if they're trying to attract newer players, they have to actually make the game playable. With 301 characters in there, and then dropping a new character every probably 10 days on average, if you consider conquest, legendaries, GLs, etc., and into the marquee, it's really like every 10 days. Then there has to be a way in which that people can actually get a character and start playing it, which is, I think, why they've enabled relics at 5 stars. I think is it at 5 stars you can get a relic 3 now, 6 stars is a relic 5, etc.
Yeah.
And so I think that they've just dropped the price of the signal data to enable those newer players to start using whatever they have in their roster earlier. Now, that said, I have some big concerns, and I think this is a good thing overall, but I have some big concerns that especially newer players are going to go in there and be like, oh man, I love Wedge. He's so cool in the movies. I'm going to relic 5 that, oh crap, he's worthless. Right. And that may end up backfiring on CG, which maybe this is, again, a preemptive attempt to not only enable those, but also reduce that pain of relicking your passion and finding out it's crap by not making the investment so expensive. So I'm hopeful this is just a positive move for the community. But I do recognize that late gamers like myself and a lot of more advanced guilds, at a certain point in the game, it just becomes self-sustaining. Like, I really don't need to spend money at this point to keep unlocking the next marquee character. Between territory battle, crystals, between the new era battle, especially cranking out 4,000 on the off week, I can actually save 12,000 crystals every 2 weeks and buy that character pack to get the 6-star unlock of the marquee to roll into the 7-star by the end of the week, and I can just keep it going. I do still spend periodically, but it's not necessary. So I think that having a Relic 10 or something is an inevitability just to get those, late gamers consistently like, oh, suddenly my entire roster now needs to be raised to level,
right.
100 or red starred or something. So I think that's coming. But I think the signal data is just hopefully just to help people.
Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, good.
Going off of that same idea of making it more accessible, they did add the things for, they redid a little bit of the new game thing, and I'm going to be starting a new player account pretty soon and trying to speed run and see how long it takes to get to level 85 now with the new changes. But I think they are taking a step towards trying to make that early game more accessible, trying to make the game more interesting and fun for players coming in, because with games like Raid Shadow Legends, they're still growing, they're still going up, but like games like this one and Marvel Strike Force have really stagnated and continue to go downhill. And I think the Lightspeed bundles gave them a huge influx of revenue that made, EA and, CG's higher ups go, oh, this game can come back. And so I feel like they're taking that revenue and kind of trying to put it into a spot where they could start, maybe bringing in more ads, maybe restarting a content creator program, considering they're doing a little bit with Calvin and they've started to dip their toes into that kind of thing. I doubt that's going to be the case, but I do think that they are going to kick up ad revenue and like trying to push out ads for this game and make new ads instead of rerunning the ad for the 8-year anniversary that I keep seeing on YouTube. I think there's a possibility they could be gearing up to try and push the game back into the public space.
What are they doing with Calvin? Did I miss that?
During the raid,
why
when
is
the
it
first day the raid was out, Calvin on his raid stream had some of the developers as well as Meathead talking back and forth, Q&A. It's an interesting stream. You can go listen to them talk about developing some of the characters and stuff.
I think Meathead has been more active than recent years as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been way more engaging with different people.
That's 100% true. I have... Meathead's the only one I've ever talked to. So, but that's probably with my lifespan on YouTube as well. So, and plus he draws really cool pictures when they release stuff. I mean, his crayons are excellent.
Pictures so much
appreciated.
Yes, Phil, thoughts on? I think this is true that they're really trying to accelerate the pieces of the game that have existed for years, while getting all the more new players into the new stuff. Do you think it's too fast, too furious, or is it at the right pace, or what are any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I talked today in my video and I said, I think what we're getting to, if I had to be like I don't want to say like my speculation for what they're laying the foundation for is having Kyrotech go the way of Core Gear and doing the same thing with signal data, because I think those are the two bottlenecks in this game that do not go away for a very long time because of how much is necessary, because of how much is needed, and there's nothing else in the way of a player. So somebody starting the game today, they need all the Kyrotech for every single character ever. And you can't just say go farm the First Order, go farm the Resistance, because they're not good anymore. Without the lifter units, without all this other stuff. So I think they're going to try to alleviate that while introducing something new. Same thing with what I would assume they would do with Relic 10 with new signal data. Release some new things that the endgame players can go focus on that at a slower rate, while the players in the earlier sections of the game can still build out their roster, but also still interact with these new pieces. And I think a big part of that was the allowing you to relic characters before they're 7-star. That was something that I felt was missing for a long time from this game, because I can tell you, I was so excited when I saw that because of how long I've had to sit there and look at my clones that I can take to Relic 9 today if they were 7-star. And so like immediately as soon as that happened, I took Scorch up to Relic 4. And obviously I'm in an end game situation, so that's great. But even for players before that, there's probably a lot of people who would have benefited from having those clones at Relic 3 with Lord Vader and having a really solid team on defense.
Yeah. And Gerbil, I'm going to say, I've seen the opposite of what you said earlier. You said that they might just take Wedge, and I know you're just giving an example, but, it might just take some old character that's useless, like Ugnaught. Oh, I love these little engineers or whatever. And, relic them. They get them at 3 stars and relic them. I've seen the opposite where people are letting the rest of the rosters sit. And this is very recent, obviously. It's still a week old, but people taking the clones to Gear 12 while they're still 3 or 4 stars. So you can't use them in the raid. And they're on a newer roster where they just spent 800, 900, 1200 Kyrotex to do that. And they don't have the Zetas because they've got everything Zetaed on the roster. So my concern is more like they just blow all their resources on the new guys, and then that forces them to spend on the Lightspeed bundles for later on. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm still struggling with how to put that together. And I think I feel like a voice in the wilderness for I'm not super duper excited about the update and the relicking characters under stars. I think it's great for end gamers like you guys, sitting there. I worry about the guys the early part of the game that are just farming the raid now, and they're going to just miss out on all sorts of good stuff on the roster that's important.
I think that they did that, the Lightspeed tokens. 100%.
Gerbil first, then we'll get okay. Yeah, you can cover it next, Beaver. Let's hear about it.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that we, as active community members, also have a slightly different perspective in that we are engaging largely with people that are tuning in and researching and trying to find out the best path forward. Whereas I'm thinking more about, the casual person who downloads it and never logs onto YouTube, just is like, oh, it's Star Wars. I'm going to play some Star Wars on my phone. Like that person, and there are a lot of them. I wonder how many download, get started, get screwed over by a lack of understanding, because let's face it, there is no in-game guide or tutorial that really explains what's going on, and then finds out that they've invested a lot of time into something that's just fundamentally worthless, and then deletes the game, right? I would love to know what the metric is on that, and I feel like that in that situation that may be what these cost adjustments are and relic opportunities at lower stars are. At the same time, though, I also wonder how this is going to affect all of our farming strategies and guides and things we've shared. Go this way, go this way, go this way. Well, now a lot of that may not matter so much if you can, almost immediately relic certain things much, much faster. And then to build on top of that, I think that this is it will level out and fix itself in time. But this is going to skew so much data to be a challenge to use for success. Like if you go to SWGOH.gg and you use their counter guides, and you go in there and you're like, okay, so what counters Ahsoka Tano GL, right? Well, my go-to would be GL Leia. Well, what if a lot of my characters, and I don't know, exclude GLs, this is just thrown off the top of my head here, but you look at the counter and you see that this has a 100% win rate. Well, yeah, that was a 100% win rate based on the history of everybody having 7-star relic 7 or whatever. Now, how many 3-star relic or 5-star relic 3s are mixed in there? Can that still win? It's going to complicate things for a long time. Yeah. And then I wonder if these resources like SWGOH.gg, are they going to start breaking out this data set so you can see is a 7-star required for the counter? Is it not? I can see you Nooch going, oh my gosh.
It's a simple, they just got to add a filter and it's real easy, right?
Insights, baby.
Yeah, it's called Insight, $10 a month, I think.
Yeah.
All right, Beaver, Lightspeed tokens, hit us.
Lightspeed tokens is interesting, and I think is kind of their answer to this. You're pushing for the new content, and then you'll just slowly, based on a subscription that you're paying every single month for the episode pass, you are going to be slowly getting all the old characters. So what's the point of putting anything of your materials into the old characters when you can just get them for free?
Okay, I've been on vacation forever. Can you quickly just remind the audience what the Lightspeed token is?
Yes. So Lightspeed tokens, there'll be different levels of different ones. So the top tier level is going to bring them immediately up to 7-star relic 5, just like you would do for a Lightspeed bundle in general. And you just choose one character out of the faction that they have for those set of Lightspeed tokens. So the first ones are going to be Separatists and Smugglers. And so anyone that's not part of the era system. So Hu Yang, before Hu Yang came out. Any of those characters that are Smugglers or Separatists, you could choose one of them and use one of these tokens, and it immediately brings them to 7-star Relic 5. There's ones that'll bring them up to 5-star Relic 3 as well, and just little pieces of it. The lowest tier, I don't remember what it is, but it's 3-star Gear 8.
Gear 10.
And you'll be Gear 10. There you go. And you'll get them from the episode, just the regular era system, as well as the era pass. They haven't told us how much, as well as stores they'll show up. So we're looking at essentially moving over from a Lightspeed bundle every once in a while to a subscription base, which has always been shown since they've started to make more revenue overall. And so it looks like they're just basically trying to get more and more people involved in the era pass and the era system, which will keep people playing the game because they have to do daily challenges. It'll, keep people playing because they want their free characters getting to Relic 5 or, 3-star or whatever it might be inside those systems. I'm excited because even at an end game account, I get one of these through the era pass. I've had a STAP that's been sitting in my roster at 3 stars forever because it's just not connected to anything. Now I can get my STAP up to Relic 5 this next era. So I think that they're pushing the Lightspeed tokens to basically make it feel less bad to push for the new stuff for these new events that they're doing, but it's going to make us spend money on a subscription base.
Yeah, you'll see that 5-star Gear 10 up there. Maybe we'll see. I really wait. We didn't get a lot of details for how that's going to pan out, like the structure of it. So we'll wait and see what that looks like. But yeah. I mean, the game's here to make money, so they're going to do things that are going to make money. At the end of the day, I'm going to assume we all like capitalism. I know Gerbil lives in. Never mind. All right, so let's do one more little round table here. We'll start again with Phil at the top. So, Meathead mentioned the next update. He said this is setting the foundation for another large update later this year. And I asked my community, what would you like that to be and what do you think it's going to be? So I'll ask each of you guys the same question. What do you think that might be, and what would you like it to be, that next update, when we look at all these changes that just came to the game and how that might build to a new thing?
Yes, I think I said it earlier. I think Relic 10 basically, put it on the books at this point. But I also would say that I think they're going to change the Chirotech bottleneck and change the signal data bottleneck. Because and I will say this speaking from an endgame player perspective, my account is in the position that they don't want, where I don't have a problem with Chirotechs in regard to participating in the journey guide. I don't have a problem with signal data as it relates to farming in the journey guide. If I want to go and Relic 9 everybody and look like Scribe or Arnold, then yeah, I've got to spend that money. But to go unlock Mace, to go unlock Hondo, I'm never going to have a problem. And not that I should necessarily be having problems, but they can do something to make my life harder and then make it feel like these accounts in the earlier section of the game can catch up. Because I think that is a huge issue right now, is there isn't a pathway for someone starting without spending money. And obviously that you need to spend money. As you guys said with the Lightspeed tokens, you got to spend the money if you really want the best. But that doesn't mean someone who shouldn't be able to interact with the newest content of the game, which is what your entire purpose of every update lately has been, is new stuff, new stuff, new stuff. So I do think they are going to do some things that are player friendly. I just think that it's also going to come at some of the expense of the new stuff may get a little bit more challenging to interact with for a time until you build up your, resources.
Any specific ideas or just a general, not sure what it is, but
I think they're going to go, hey, Chirotech is now like core gear, where it's going to be very common and you're going to be able to use it and something new is going to happen that's going to be worse. And then I think Relic 10 with new colors of signal data.
Yeah.
Where you basically get how would I phrase this? You kind of reduce the amount of the current legacy signal data, the white, green, blue, reduce the amount needed for the new characters, but add it on top of the new colors. And that way you're working on your Ahsoka farm. You have no need for any of the new signal data. So you can just focus on the old stuff that's going to be more accessible. And then at the flip side, if you were working on the new farms, they don't take as much of that old signal data, so now you have excess to use, which is exactly what happened when they did the State of the Gearlixy, where they forced everybody into the Kyrotech bottleneck, but they alleviated all the core gear.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Cool.
I think they're going to use that same model and just update that's what I would do.
Right. All right, Gerbil, what do you think it's going to be, and what do you want it to be?
What do I want the next update to be?
Yeah.
I want Territory Wars to be completely overhauled.
God. Yes.
I really could care less about the state of the economy. The era system has actually already found itself to me to be very stale. Just that cadence of knowing there's a new character every 2 weeks, unending. I think we talked about that before. I used to get excited when you'd wake up and be like, oh, there's a new character coming. Like, we knew, but we didn't know who, and that was exciting. Now it's like, okay, for the next 3 months, I know guaranteed this, and this is coming, and that's just, wow, yay. So, I feel like they just keep introducing purchasable content, which again, as you said, it's a game. They want to make money. Power to them. That's good. They have that right, and they should. But I want playable things that are fun to play. Like even the new raid, we're gonna have it for a year. It's only gonna be fun for a month. After you've done it 5-6 times and you've figured out those strategies, it just becomes monotonous. And Territory War, I don't think has been adjusted in 7-8 years, give or take. And there's so many things that they could do from making it more thematic, and maybe you have to penetrate your enemy's fleet defenses to land your ground troops. And if your fleet loses, maybe you lose maybe you assign squads to a fleet attack. If your fleet loses, you lose those squads. That would just be devastating and fun, and a way to invest in ships, or have multi-guild territory wars. Have a map with 5 or 6 groups, and you deploy by sending your fleets to a spot and hope that you don't get overrun or whatever. I can see the Guild Alliance is having a lot of fun with that, but just something to break up the repetitiveness of logging in and going, oh look, 48 dark side rays. Oh, look, 48 total convolution or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, gee.
Yeah.
And the reward structure, too, I think, on Territory Wars is really out of date. With the way that they're pushing for high relics, Territory Wars is probably the #1 spot for a lot of people to get arrow magnifiers, is it? I mean, I don't pay attention to it too much. I just know that it's
Droid brains, yeah, there. And you just don't get many. Like if you're in a low power guild, what do you get? 1, 2, maybe? So you get 4, 8 a month. Even I will say this, even as my guild is 660 million and our territory war policy is we play for second place because it's just not, to try and compete with the Gauntlet guilds is impossible.
Yeah.
And we don't win 50% of the time. We lose 2/3 of our matchups. So, yeah. And that's just because of everybody else who would be around us sandbags. So we fight Maw and all that. So just saying, it is very challenging to get those droid brains, even if the matchmaking is 50%. It's not 50 because those guilds can sandbag.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much did you say your guild was? 600 what?
660. 663.
Yeah. The top crate that you can get is 380 million.
Right.
That's how absolutely low.
Yes, that's how outdated.
Yeah.
All right, Beaver, same question to you. What do you want it to be, and what do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I feel like what I want it to be and what it's going to be, I think what it's going to be, I think we're getting some kind of progression for the top level. I think that it's become too stagnant, even from a sense of I'm actually seeing a lot of people who are former whales, former endgame players that are leaving the game because they don't have a way to progress. They're just getting the new character and it's repetitive. And so I think they're trying to solve that problem, and I think they're going to try and solve the new player problem, because they've solved the beginning, the level 1 to 85. but the speed at which you go from 1 to level 85 is fast and feels good. It's a little overwhelming, but it's fast, feels good. And then you hit level 85 and then you feel dead in the water, like you can't do anything in GAC and you're just stuck for like a couple months. And so I think the biggest problem is they're trying to retain players, and so I think they're going to try to fix the end game and add in like red stars or something along those lines, a new way of progressing. People are saying relic vehicles. I will literally jump off a bridge. Some kind of progression is coming, I'm sure. And then I think with the lightspeed tokens and probably some more changes to come, I think they're going to try and fix that little like post beginner starting into early game kind of area and fix that. My deepest hope just overall is that they add in a new game mode and give something that we can enjoy, even if it's the PvEVP game mode that Tuscan Meathead alluded to about a year ago, or it's just a redoing of Territory Wars, even just a GAC like addition. Like I would love if in GAC they added in a long back zone in the back, so you can go through the fleets or go through the bottom and get to that one. It'll add one team in Carbonite, more in Kyber, and then you get an extra level of, you know, strategy to it. Because like right now, the whole you have 1,000,001 teams to go against your opponent is just kind of, I don't know. It feels really boring to me. I miss the good old days of having to balance a defense and an offense. So I don't know.
All right, yeah. My grand arena beef is always with when you enter as a new player, you just get stomped. You just get curb stomped for like 6 to 9 months. And why would anybody care about the game mode when you go in there with your roster and the other guy's got 6 Galactic Legends and you just started playing 2 weeks ago? You know, that shouldn't be that hard to fix, but. Anyway, I don't know what, Phil, were you saying?
TP limits. That's
I was going to say, apparently it is that hard to fix.
Apparently.
Because I don't know if you guys have ever looked, if you go to like the top players in Kyber 1 and look at their GAC history, some of them it's just fighting each other, but there's like 3 million accounts, 4 million accounts sitting in Kyber 1 because of issues with the skill system. I don't understand how it happens, but it's ridiculous. And I sit there and I of course get mad because I'm like, I have to get my teeth kicked in every week, and then these guys get, you know, cupcake wars 2/3 of the time.
You should make a show on the Food Channel about that.
Cupcake Wars, Star Wars Cupcake Wars. Well, I am glad. I think that I see CG doing a lot lately, and just to try to mix it up a bit. And I think that's good. I mean, this update, time will tell, but I think it's fundamentally a good thing in the long run. But I think it is going to be a challenge for people to adjust. And again, without some real clarity in game, I really do want to know how good is a 5-star Relic 3 character relative to a 7-star Relic 3. Like, is it going to be able to hold its own or not? Again, time will tell, but I'm happy to see movement from CG in any direction, because that shows that they are still trying things. They are still investing.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, I feel like we could talk about this all day, but we've all got lives to live and lawns to mow, I think, for some of us. And anyway, listen, I want to say thanks again to PhatPhil, Gerbil, and Rabid Beaver for jumping on here. This new update was a big deal, and it's good to talk about it in circles. So thank you, everybody. All of you out there, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Go check out all these guys on their channels. And always remember, Nooch too good.